Yeah, go ahead and turn it on. Let's call our door.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Bill.
Present.
Raymond.
Present.
Hanson.
Yes. Okay, any public comments? Public comments? Randy, you're up.
We took off 2 sheriff's cars to replace the one we traded right now. We added another one, took 2 of them. That's it.
That's it, did you get that figured out with the copy?
Yes.
Got set on that?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Stacy?
Everybody has to carry their cards in their
Last week
pocket.
with Amanda, our rep from Aflac, now that we have all the products on the same open enrollment, 12-1 cycle, we're looking at implementing like a benefit fair in October. We're going to get these together for October and have vendors come in and kind of implement that with the open enrollment, so get a bigger turnout, have some giveaways and stuff like that. And I'll be sending up a follow-up email to Amanda and Alina with those updates, but I'm excited and we do.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ginger Bowles.
Hi, everybody. It's that time of year for University of Illinois to discuss the levy. So I brought a couple handouts. I brought the annual report from our latest annual report, 2014, and then I actually brought the FY16 budget. One thing you have to remember with our budget is that we work on a fiscal year and not a calendar year. So essentially, the agreement that we sign right now is actually last year's, but I'm talking to you today about next year. So I've got kind of a two-pronged thing. I brought my agreement that'll need to be signed for, that I turn in with the budget, but it's essentially your FY. It's your last year's budget. Does that make sense? Okay. So anyway, let's go ahead and I'm going to kind of review the budget. And I actually this year included the budget that has all 4 counties, so you can kind of see where you are. What we're asking for this year again is this 4th year, and I haven't raised it, and that's not the plan. I think I want to keep it where it is. We are seeing so it's 101,300 is what the county board levy is, and if you can kind of see what the other 3 counties are. One thing is essentially what that money does. People always ask me, well, what does that do? It essentially pays to have a local office. That pays for our staff and our local office. Right now we have a secretary, we have a 4-H program coordinator, we have ag and classroom person, and we have 2 part-time people working on, one working on Ford County 4-H, and we have one working on our horticulture program. Our horticulture program has doubled in the last year. Our 4-H program has really held steady. Actually, in Ford County we raised about 20%, but in Iroquois County we have about 600 members. So it's pretty. If you want to look at the percentage, it's pretty large. The other person that we have in the unit is what we call a SNAP person that looks at teaching our teaching nutrition to low-income folks. So those are the actual people that are in the office. Some of our big programs, of course, are our nutrition education program, our 4-H program, agriculture program, and that's all of those programs are listed in here. One big thing that we've tried to do this year is have our educators come to youth. So we've done more programs in Waseca than we have in the past, rather than having everybody having to drive down to Onarga. So we've done a brain health program that had about 60 people that came to that program. So those are some of the things that we're doing. Like I said, we're keeping our funding the same. What's that look like with the state? We're planning on about a 65% match this year versus the 1-for-1 match. We've gotten about half of our money this year. We don't know if we're going to get the other half, of course. You know how that goes. Well, we're like everybody else. Our secretary retired. Helen has retired. Helen Hines, who has been a long time, 20-plus years. Secretary, I am replacing her. I'm replacing her, and that's in the works right now because we really have to have someone here. Looking for somebody local, so if you know of anybody that's interested, please pass that along. One thing that I've done because we know that the match is going to go down, I'm only replacing key positions. I would consider Helen Main's position being a very key position. I've cut about 3 positions out of the Champaign office. So I don't want to cut programming, but I've been looking at some of our admin side positions. So there's a few positions that we're not replacing. I've definitely trimmed the travel and things like that. So we have a little bit of carryover that'll get us through, but I think I want to be pretty prudent. I'm also looking at some grant funds. It looks like we may get about $50,000 to look at from ADM to look at doing some post-harvest things with vegetables, for example. So that's a big program that we're looking at. We're increasing our numbers off of the SNAP Ed, which is about a $500,000 grant. And part of that will be to look at the Hispanic population in Iroquois, Vermilion, that corridor there that kind of runs through Siskiyou Park, Houston, and down in Vermilion County. So those are some of the things that we're doing. As some of you know, the way our funding works is we get part of our money from our county board through our levies. We get part of our money through the federal, and the federal money looks to be steady, and the state money is looks iffy. And we're really iffy on 2 fronts there. We're iffy on our county board match, and we're iffy on what's coming from the college, our general revenue fund. So this year is one of those years that I'm going to kind of try to hang on. That's what we're doing. So I'm not raising anything, and I'm trimming as tight as I can without giving up programs, because, I mean, that's our business. If we start to sit and stare at a white wall, I mean, we're going to be in trouble. So we want to make sure we're meeting the needs out in the community. So, questions?
The state's going to come up with a budget pretty quick.
Yeah.
It looks like. We'll all have a little better vision.
Yeah, I think I come today pretty uneasy.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make a budget off of, we work with a budget that's got unknowns all the time, but it's probably more uncertain. We do have some, we have a pretty strong foundation here in Iroquois County. I have a strong one in Champaign. So I mean, I think we'll weather some things. But I have a $1.3 million personnel budget for the entire unit. So we've got a
Big budget.
and so we have a little bit to play with, but not a lot, and I want to make sure we're.
I'm not familiar, I should probably know this, but your levy, you have a levy amount, is it maxed out?
No, we're not maxed out. I think it's at about, I didn't even check this, I should have checked. Yeah, I didn't. I wish I would have now.
I can't imagine not being maxed out.
But we're not.
Hell, we're feeling, wouldn't it?
No, we've not been, no, and a matter of fact, I've kept it pretty steady for the last 4 years, and I think we better, I feel better if I can.
What'd you say, man?
I don't think it'd be a little close. I think it's about half. We've been about 2.3, 2.4 the last few years, and we have a 5-year levy, so it's close to half.
So you've done good.
So we've been trying to keep within that and still do our programming.
That's the thing you need to show the public. You're not maxed out, and you're trying to cut, and you're
Right.
50, 60% of your your levy, that's good.
Right, and so I would rather try to, and you know, when we combined, that really did help. The problem is, if they have to cut again, you know, we could be in a little more trouble. So I think what I would like citizens to know too is that, you know, extension law says that they have a requirement to match our money from the state, you know, and they're not always living up to their portion of that either, so. As with everything.
A lot of people down.
Yeah, but I also understand that we've got to get our house in order, you know, I mean, we want to make sure that we're sustainable, and that's the other reason that I don't want to raise my levy, because we need to live within our means and then see where we are.
Yeah, that's evident. But I would urge you, there's no press here today, so we hear it, and it'll be in our minutes, but if you can contact her and let her know.
I sure will.
And make sure they understand that, because I tell people, get your information out, because, you know, you value your programs, the public's got to know what you're doing.
Right.
You know.
I appreciate that, and I will, because I think that,
Because the first thing I got when I got the tax bill was 4 different farmers wanting to know when they got their pension. It's not a question if we can do this or not do this. We have to do it. We need to do it well. We need to be fiscally well.
absolutely.
So, but we got to let people know. We got to explain it to them so they know.
And I want to be as transparent as possible, and that's the other reason that I brought up the entire spreadsheet this year, because I just wanted you to see that, kind of where you are in terms, in relationship to the other counties. I didn't read the whole expense sheet, but essentially the majority of your county board money goes for that local law.
At least they weren't depending on Kankakee County to help.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have anything else, you can think of it.
No.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I left the agreement, so you can,
Yeah, that'll have to be fine.
yeah, however that goes. So. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Department heads. Lisa, thank you.
I don't have anything, Kevin.
Eric, you got something I know?
Like my last one?
Oh, the Hanford.
Well, I didn't get to report to E&P, so I'll let you all know what I've been up to for the past month. I now have my hand radio technician license, and that'll be good in coordinating with the local hand radio during times of disaster and during exercises. I visited a couple of villages, Buckley, and then I visited Clifton last night. I gave a presentation about what I do, contact information. Been working with CXX Railway to attend a course that they offer for the line to in Atlanta, Georgia. 2 meals a day, at least. Like I said, the line was there, the hotel costs all paid by them. So it's too good of an opportunity to really pass up. I talked to Mr. Anderson about this. It sounds a little bit to be true, but I double checked with Kankakee County EMA to see if they've heard of this before. They said, got a call back from their corner, Shad Gaskin said, yeah, this deal, I encourage you to go, I'm sending them my license. So, likely go into that, that's in June. And I'm spending a lot of time working on the H1 hazardous materials response plan for the new LEDC. This is something that we were supposed to have a very long time ago, and our regional coordinator been pushing us for us to get it done. The previous LEDC could not get it approved, so I've been working a lot on that, been coordinating with fire departments, EMS, et cetera, getting everybody's information, and also the chemical facilities in our county, making sure that we're all on the same page, get a nice plan that everybody loves. Our next meeting is actually after the full county board meeting, on the 12th at 2 p.m. If you want to come by, that's great. And that's what I have. Anybody have any questions?
Anybody got questions? Morning. You don't have anything you know? God, meetings get any smaller, we don't have meetings. Bob, you got anything?
Busy.
Yeah. Mindy?
You'd like to have it with us. We'll with that.
Got them out finally, that was neat.
Yeah, combine that with their first office.
That's nice, that's good to hear. Okay. ICANN budget issue. Kyle, did you come up with anything?
What I came up with is pretty much what you guys. The intergovernmental agreement, it's in place. Cut it back, I don't remember what the numbers are now. Or it's planned. Rod was within his purview last time when he let him keep it.
Well, we're kind of in a pickle. They're gonna be short 13,000, I think.
No. This is what Greg Murphy presented last month. By statute, it's prorated. So because Kankakee cut theirs, that would lower our portion from $87,895 to $73,908, which is a $13,987 reduction that we would give to them this year. And like Kyle said, last year when Kankakee cut theirs, we chose not to make an adjustment, but this year you can choose. I mean, by statute, if it's prorated, that's the amount. It would reduce by $13,987. So the question is, do you want to reduce it?
So this is in your 016
No,
budget year?
15.
15.
Well, that's a tough call until we find out what the state's gonna do.
Yeah, what was the date that he, I don't remember when he was wanting to know that by.
Mindy, do you have any idea when the state's gonna have their budget? Nothing even close. I see, Ronald made buddies in Chicago, but told them they were on their own last night.
My feeling is we probably should stick to the original agreement. That's in black and white, that's legal. Now, if later we can feel that if they're in trouble and they need some help, we can look at it at that time.
Yeah. Well, we know,
But I stick close to what the agreement says.
I'd be willing to bet Yankees is gonna have more problems. So we can't just cut them.
We know they are.
Yeah. We can't just automatically cut them, but we sure don't want to be carrying a load when we might have to make cuts here.
But we can make that decision later when we see where we're at and see what the state's doing and what the state's going to pull from us, because there's a whole bunch of issues out there.
Yeah. We need to do what our contract says. Yeah.
There's on that ICANN committee, and it was my understanding that Rod had told them that the 15 budget was intact, and we stayed with it. Now, when we do the budget for 16, then we can go back to the 60-20 or whatever that is. But that was my understanding from the ICANN committee meeting. And the reason Fred came here was just to let you know that there's a possibility, or just let you know what the intergovernmental agreement says, and what he has been promised, and that if we take that 13 away now,
Did Kankakee take theirs away now?
well, CCC has not finished their budget. And I think the budget is different from the Kankakee or your Canada budget for the year. So it makes it difficult.
And so, Gene, what you're talking about is our county budget, when we would put it together, we allowed for that room in our budget.
Yes.
But at the same
And then
time,
Kankakee has not finished theirs, and then they later reduced theirs. Well, then according to the intergovernmental agreement, that would reduce ours. But process, he liked it, because already budgeted for 15.
No, that was for 14. This happened last year as well, that Kankakee cut theirs last year. So Greg came last year in FY14 and told us we could reduce our FY14 payable amount, and the board made a motion and passed it and did not make the reduction. So now Greg is coming back again this year and saying the same thing has happened, but for FY15. So he is asking the board, he's telling us that we can reduce by state statute. It's not an intergovernmental agreement, it's defined by state statute that we pay by percentage of population. So it can be reduced by the 13,987.
And they're up to date on payments now, aren't they, pretty well? The state. What do you guys think?
I need to clarify one thing. Is it by population or assessed valuation?
Oh, you're right. I think he did say assessed valuation.
I think what I remember seeing years back was assessed
I
valuation.
think that's what Greg told us yesterday, or last month. I didn't bring my minutes from last month.
I think we need to keep it at this point in line with the original agreement and continue what we agreed to. We'll keep our agreement. As things progress, then we can always look at it differently down the road.
Yeah, we don't know. That's our big thing.
Right.
I hate to make promises where we might have to cut our people here,
Right.
and they're all going to cost us. I mean, we're going to pay.
They're going to cut the schools.
I didn't say that.
I-
We have.
The motion, I guess we need a motion on this? No, what, to maintain the existing contract? Not to change the existing contract?
Well, it's by statute. I mean,
Yeah, it's by statute, so I don't think,
Well, if you're going to reduce your budget amount, you have a budgeted amount. If you look in here, the Regional Office of Education is in, that payment is Department 110, or Fund 110, Department 615. So if you go to that page, on this group of sheets, there's a line on here, transfer to Regional Office of Education.
What was that page?
The page numbers are cut off, but just go, if you look, these are in order, 110, and then 615, other. Look at account number 73000, transfer to joint, 1700, transfer to Regional Office of Education. The budgeted amount is $87,895. Greg Murphy, I didn't make copies for everyone because we received them last month, but Greg passed this sheet out and you can pass it around. That's the approved budget and then the revised, how it would be revised.
87 is for the budget.
FY15. The minutes from last month. The reason he also asked if Iroquois County is looking to reduce their budget due to Kankakee County reducing their budget. The reason for this question, he explained, is because the ratio in which the budget is determined is based on the EAV in each county as required in school code.
We just say what's our budget. And so the budget starts January, July 1st, I think.
yeah, be tied to state.
He's asking about our FY15 budget, Jean.
Well, again, I'll say we should pay what our agreement says we're going to pay. It doesn't matter what we got budgeted, because, we plan on buying a couple squad cars, and we find out, we budget so much money, and we buy them for half the money, we just don't go below the money on something else. Oh, that's probably not the best way to say it.
Because I don't like to cut the schools if I don't, do we have to do anything on this right now? Till we find out where the state is?
I
Well, no,
believe
what-
he wants to know.
Boy, he'd like to know.
I'd like to know.
Yeah, I'd like to know, but if we keep them the same, giving the same amount of money, and if we get in a pickle,
Right.
then we can legally cut it because.
Does he want to hear what's actual, or does he want to hear a wish?
And, they're just one of the many areas that there's going to be fallout coming
Oh, yeah, he
from
didn't.
our neighbors.
That's interesting. Becker, what do you recommend, Kyle? Follow the rules?
Yeah, I would follow the rules, like I said, you're right. If for some reason nothing gets cut.
We've got it.
Yeah, but it's gonna get tough here real quick.
Yeah.
If you take, we've heard this last year, so we can't keep cutting, and they got this year, if you don't think they're gonna do it next year, you're probably so foolish. So plan on hearing the next speech next year from what I might say.
Yeah. Well, guys, what do you think?
I already told you what I thought.
I'm not hearing this from the other guys.
I hate to cut schools, but I agree with Russell.
We don't know what we have to do yet, and that's why I wish.
That's why I hate to commit to something that, other than what we already previously committed to, say that we're going to go by what the state set down in proportion.
Do you need a motion?
The interesting thing on this, just in conversation, that's based on EAB. In Kankakee's cutting it because they're in financial trouble. But the EAB is a straight number.
The percentages, if you have a by county, the percentage paid by each county is what's based on EAB.
I always thought some student population that's not something.
Student population, education would make more sense, yeah. That's what caught my attention when I think EAV instead of population. But I think we got slammed below in that way. Nobody was. Well, but they're made by the population area of the county, so, what happens?
I'm glad we don't have their problems, but we got our own problems.
You could make a motion to approve payment at this time of the 24% amount of whatever that is on that sheet and not reduce the budget, which would allow for a payment later on in the year. It would be one way to do it.
They need to know that if we...
But they need to know.
I mean, I don't want to blindside them either. I'm trying to support them as much as we can, but if we get blindsided and we got to cut critical systems here, then we'll have to adjust them.
Your fiscal year starts July 1st, just like the state.
I think that's right, I'm not positive. I know it's not ours.
So Kankakee's gave them money for this year?
What?
Is Kankakee giving them the money for this year?
No. Kankakee, what is...
I thought.
I don't know if they have the cash on hand. I don't know what their cash
Oh,
position is.
okay.
See, do you know their cash position?
I don't know, sure, they, their budget, they reduced their county budget before they sent them out to the ICANN.
Well, I suppose we just need to get a motion on the floor here just to do the proportion based off of the EAV, just like the original agreement at this point. And that way we can get them some money going.
Yeah.
It's not,
If we don't get killed, they don't get killed. If we get killed, we're all going down.
of course, when it's based off proportion, when you know, don't know for sure what they're giving them to stay in the proportion rate.
Yeah.
They might get a note passed on. Maybe we can pass on some notes. We gotta have a hard time with.
How many payments to?
They usually submit us a letter. Last year, I think it was just one letter with one request. The year before, it came in 2 increments.
That's the motion?
Oh, that is a motion?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Sorry, I was rewriting all those lines. I thought, I'm
Got a
gonna make
motion
it
and a
sell.
second. Call the roll.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yeah. So, any discussions on possible state reductions? Anybody hear anything good, bad, or?
It's all hearsay. There's all kinds of marketing schemes going on already from different groups. Too early to react.
The greatest kind of official lessons were non-reading experience with the college. More work for less.
How would that work here, just for conversation? How are we going to consolidate things and do more for less?
Now, all my colleagues, consider how to do it, because they're all agree.
Well, one thing about it, it's definitely going to be change. And traditionally, people don't like change.
But the other side of the coin is, if you don't fix this now, it's really going to be changed if the state goes bankrupt. I mean, is anybody that's critical of this coming change, have they come up with anything? I mean, has anybody had a better way of fixing it? I mean, that's like the other day with the unions here, they want us to not support Ronnie. If we don't save the people that are already in retirement, if he don't turn this around and that fails, what are they going to have? Their pension money's been swept. You know, are they going to get an IOU from a state that's bankrupt? I mean, it's ugly, but I mean, I don't see the other side's option. They can sit here and say the state's got a lot of money, but they got a lot of debt.
I know that one of our advisors were very instrumental in Indiana's decision to eliminate economic assessment. But the problem, always limiting work is the reverse of the county. And that does not this last time. It's going to come up again. And so but I'm not sure level where I think a lot of the local is on, whether that happens or not.
But you, like last month's meeting in Highway, we were discussing, there's townships up in the city to get so much money, they have their own engineer.
Right.
but down here,
That's why I want to go over and reduce all county, because what's that? Because they got highway department to highway to maintain all villages and cities and no county, there's no county highway to all urban.
as far as our assessors go, bang to the buck, you ain't gonna beat what we got. I mean, we're here, let's have it. But I know our assessor, I was a supervisor in our township, and we got a co-assessor, and, yeah, there's some that don't do good. But what would the cost be to us if the county, if this gets dumped on the county, what additional cost do you think per person that you have to hire?
It would take, do the whole county, it would take, and eliminate all county assessors, it would take at least 2 people full time. And,
You have to have cars.
you have to either pay mileage or purchase vehicle, yeah,
You think 2 people could keep up with the whole county?
full time. That's all I did. With the way computerization now.
What kind of certification they have to have?
Yeah, that is the CIO, and I would, it would, to me, the kind of appraisal that I don't know, would just say we have to do that on our own, it wouldn't be required. But there's money. Maybe, let the four townships spend that money, the county, that's not say the township spending, let me money, they do it that way. So I don't see.
Well, I don't see them letting the townships off easier. Do you? I ain't gonna happen.
No.
Well,
And,
some
I
of that county money.
so, they're township assessors, most of them make it over the years.
Well, yeah, but I don't believe, like up in our area, Carl makes all that money.
No.
$3 grand, $4 grand.
I think,
Four figures.
yeah, ours is like 10, 11,000.
Like difference between 4 figures and 6.
But see, he gets it from 3 different townships. He does
Oh,
Elk
oh.
Grove,
Okay.
Hampton.
Because I thought average anymore was about 4,500 a township, average in the county. Yeah.
That goes back to
Yeah, we've had so many problems with that. So, but man, you don't have any local representation in it.
that.
At least you get to vote for your assessor now.
Well, that's not going over at all over. If you vote for your assessor, who did it? People don't pay attention.
Yeah, it's like school board.
That's like when them guys tell me about their pension. I always have to look at them and say, I've got to protect my pension. We don't get them. I got to protect it. Yeah, it's a tough call. It's going to work out. The numbers are going to always roll. I mean, you're going to get what you get, and you're going to have to damn sure live with
I'm
it.
not sure there's any answer that they gave them the money to help with the assessment process that most of the commissions do. So I don't know. They did it, I think, on assessed valuation, they had so much assessed valuation, you were allowed to be the township assessor.
Nobody else has heard anything, so what do you want to do?
What's HMEP? Give me a reminder.
Eric, you're up.
Oh, management.
Yeah, his funding is changing here.
Homeland management. Emergency preparedness.
It's the grant that supplies the LEDP money.
Oh, yeah.
Before when I came to talk to you about this, I told you that we were going to get that it would be 100% reimbursable, and I asked for a line item budget to be open over 2 fiscal years for $7,157.62. pretty drastic cut, almost $5,000, pretty large percentage. Now, what I'm here to tell you is, before I wasn't asking for a 20% match because the amount we were given was plenty. If the county decides to provide a 20% match, it would only be $644.03, if that's what you choose to do. Now, before you is an idea of what we would like to spend the money on. I'm going to go over this with the LEPC committee on the 12th when we meet, and then I will submit the application. So this is subject to change, but not likely to. So the things that we're looking to spend it on are going to 2 different conferences, and the one-person champagne for Cameo course. That's actually me. Cameo is free software provided by EPA that allows me to plot out if, say, this specific plant blows up and we have a cloud of anhydrous going somewhere, I can use wind direction and other environmental factors to plot how and where that goes and who needs to be evacuated. It's really nice. And the state encourages us to use that software in our planning interior. Local regional training for LEPC members and mileage for hazmat awareness. There are trainings and railways and pipelines like the local seminars. I've been to a couple of PPE for EMA and such like that. And they're good to go to get some valuable information. And that way, besides myself that are on the committee, the chairman and vice chairman, whoever else may want to go, with prior approval by the committee can go, and then getting information that will help us all plan for a hazmat emergency incident. Some of the basic needs are paper, binders, ink, post. One of the primary functions that we need to do is write this HMR plan that I've been working on. And after it's done, after we approve it, we need to distribute it throughout the county, to all the facilities and all the community partners that are involved with it. Now, see a printer there for $700, that's the biggest ticket item. That will be a all-in-one unit, a fax scanner, printer, copier, and that'll be extremely helpful in my work with the LEPC. Not only do I have to print out these plans and distribute them, but also I am a FOIA officer for FOIA requests for Tier 2 reports, which are reports that I get from every facility that is eligible every year. And it is right to request what chemicals are being stored and how much at each facility.
Can I just, is LEPC is the public health portion? No, it's the LEPC grant is the portion in the ESDA
Is
department, or it's...
LEPC standalone.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any budgeted money for it, but on the revenue side, because in this case, it's looking at what, $2,600 roughly coming in from federal government.
Well,
as
that's
grant money.
the LHPC.
Yeah, LEPC is public health.
And I think he's looking for a blessing that he can spend the 20% to $644.
Do you have enough money
It
in
is
the budget?
still not awarded, correct?
It is not awarded.
It is not awarded.
It is not awarded. I have not done the application.
No, but if it is awarded, do you,
Yeah.
where you at in your budget, do you have enough money to?
Well, this is not in my ESDA budget. This is not ESDA money.
Oh,
Yes,
You can't clear, this money has not been provided yet. And the fiscal year goes from October 1st to September 30th. Now, I know it's a bad time to be asking for more money. Worst situation, if you guys decide to open up a line item, you open up a line item for $2,576.13. And 100% of that gets reimbursed back by the state. Well, federal to the state to us. If you decide to provide the 20%, then you have a total of $3,220.16. The roughly $2,500 will be reimbursed as expenses came in. And then the 20% will just be what the county was putting forward. Now, the advantage of providing the 20% is that we will be eligible for reallocation funds. Not every county in Illinois has a full functioning LEPC, and not every LEPC spends all their money, so sometimes there is money left over. state decides how to redistribute that amongst the functioning agencies that want more money. Now, I sent out a couple emails about what their formulas are for reallocation, and the responses are not good, to be completely honest. I was told, one man that works for IEMA, this time the format and the methodology for redistribution of unused funds hasn't been determined. We hope based on the historical expenditure data we used for the LTCs, there will be minimal funds that will need to be reallocated. They're hoping that there's not going to be a lot of reallocation funds. They're hoping just to allocate the funds originally well. I sent off another email. My question was, how much funds was there in previous fiscal years? And at the end, he said, if funds become available, I would assume we would look to support regional exercises or planning efforts. If we decide to upfront 20%. And if we do receive reallocation funds, we would probably be eligible to use them for regional exercises or planning efforts. So this is what the reallocation funds would go for if we could get them, if you want to provide the 20%.
What portion of the expenses are going to occur in FY15?
That really depends on how we spend the money. I imagine a large portion of, if you guys did not decide not to do the 20%, a large portion of the 2,500 would be incurred in 2015 because we need, at that point, our HMR plan will be ready and we'll be printing it off and distributing it and stuff in paper, and we would need to print it out. So the two conferences will be in the county next fiscal year, so those expenses will be for our next fiscal year.
I would think you should proceed with this because the dollar amount is pretty small, and what he's doing actually affects a whole bunch of other agencies in the area that we really need to have in place.
Yeah.
If that's a true statement.
$644.
That's what I'm asking the county.
Yeah.
The only adjustment to the FY15 budget is the amount.
Of revenue coming in.
Well, that's what we need to address right now. The FY16 portion would be part of the FY16 budget process that will occur in July.
And since it's revenue coming in that should be coming in, this is something we can make the adjustment on our budget. Can't we, months down the road here, after we get more of a feel, as we do a bunch of other budget changes? Seems like we always have a bunch of them that usually hit us in July, but I hate to stack them all up in one pile and hit everybody with them, but sometimes it's easier.
How many different other agencies is this affect? Quite a few.
The LEC, the purpose of the LEC is to combine things possible. Right now we have local county board members, myself representing NASDA, we have Carrie Iman representing public health, we have local chemical facilities, FS, and gas has dropped out. There's another sheriff's department, fire department. I have the mayor from Gilman. Highway, thank you. Hospital, EMS, both IMH and Riverside. I'm missing anybody else?
Oh, there's a couple more, but yeah,
There's a couple more.
I don't want
And
to know too much.
the funds, to be specific about what these funds can be used for, they're for planning efforts. What we cannot do is buy a foot for this fund. We'd like to, but we can't. So they can go to planning efforts, like exercises, helping in creating our plans, and such. So it's a good cause.
Yeah. This would be like a few years ago, Charlie was all upset over the anhydrous thing.
Mm-hmm.
This would be for training or something like that, too, right?
And believe me, it can happen here real easy.
Oh, hell.
We're just talking about the railroad. There is more crap on that railroad goes by every day, that if you knew what was on those cars, you'd all run and hide.
I was in the village of Clifton last night, and one of the trustees asked me, hey, the other day, I just saw over 100 cars with oil on it going through our town. You know?
Well, it sounds friendlier than some of the other stuff.
That's true.
They're all together, too.
Especially when you go across the bridge, it looks like it's a fall in.
Yeah.
I think they could have more than like 5 or 6 cars in a row. When I was there when they did that, I couldn't believe that there was tons of oil cars going down.
But that's, I think, just on propane cars after Crescent City blew up.
So you're just looking for a blessing, or you need to,
I'm looking for a blessing. I understand that without a grant reward, that, so a motion to approve this.
yeah.
So really, I'm just looking for a blessing to spend an excess $644, which the county would not be reimbursed for. And, that's what I'm looking for.
You guys hearing that? What do you think?
I think we need to do it.
Anybody want to make a motion to give them a blessing? Or is that necessary? I don't know if it'd be necessary.
Well,
Well, that's $600.
You
better
need
make a motion.
you need to, if he doesn't have, if it's not budgeted, then that's a budget adjustment. So he's asking for an increase in a line in his budget, and I'm not sure if it's office expense. It looks like the majority would be office expense. You would ask to increase his current year budget office expense from,
Excuse me, and this is not part of the, and that is not a problem. This is not part of my annual budget.
this is,
Ellie-
you would ask a new department be set up?
Yes, when I came to the last time, I asked for a separate line. This is not part of that. I, as the ethics coordinator, and part of this, and last time I came, I asked for a line.
can't you run this through your ESTA budget though?
Yeah.
Well, we can increase the revenue when the money comes in,
If that's what the county wants.
because it falls, say, under the edge of budget, so much money coming out of
Yeah.
county, we can add this one line for grant on the revenue side, and then we take and just add it to the expense side. That way, if the grant disappears, we can make it disappear off the budget later. Yeah,
That would be fine, if that's what the county wants to do.
What do you think?
great idea, make the motion.
That's not what you're thinking. I can read your mind, no. My wife says, great, I know this ain't right. Spit it out, what the hell do you think we should do this?
Just not here, whatever.
Just be-
What's the proper way to do this where we're not getting in trouble with our audit?
You would run them through, you would increase his office supply expense line by $644 in the current fiscal year. He would not submit those expenses related to this to ESDA for reimbursement. That's how you would do it. You would leave it in this, you wouldn't set up a new department for one line for 1 year. We would not do that. When and if the grant's awarded, you would set up in the grants department 2 lines, the revenue line and the expense line in the grants department for that federal portion. But the portion by us is simply county overhead expense, similar to all the in-kind time, materials that happens in public health gets booked directly to those lines. Labor, office expense, supplies, medications, etc.
Does that make sense to you, Eric?
Yes, if you want to do it that way, and then you have the budget, that's fine with me.
It wouldn't be in the ESTA budget then?
Yes, it would be in the ESDA budget.
If you need a budget for a term, more than happy to do it. It's just me. I
So the
just
key
need-
is to keep the money coming where you can do the job. You know, starting a whole separate department, I would think that would apply to ours. wouldn't it?
Well, it's not an issue if you added a department, but if you start adding a department for one line in one fiscal year,
Yeah, it's a no-no.
these financials would become impossible to manage.
Especially for $600
For
or something.
$600.
Yeah, it costs more than that by the
Right.
time it's done.
And this
Right.
will all change in a year or two. because
Right.
They're either going to be successful or they'll fail, and then they'll fund it a different way.
A lot of those funds, the H&E funds actually comes from federal, as well as mine as the grant. the EMA grant, that comes from federal as well. But yes, we've seen it since applying for the grant, it's been cut already, so.
Well, it sounds good, that we're getting it, and we kind of need it for the training, especially for the stand hydrants thing. We lucked out, and that thing Charlie was angry with, nobody got hurt. That stuff's deadly for us. You get a snootful of that, you don't have a second chance.
Yeah, people need to know which way the winds are.
Oh,
That's the way it goes.
what do you think?
I say do it, we'll deal with it later.
Yeah. Is that right? What do we need to do to make this look right? You're the one
Yeah.
that makes the books look
Okay,
right.
I told you what to do.
All right.
Increase the office supply budget for $644 in the current fiscal year. That's what Eric is requesting.
Okay. Somebody want to do that?
I'll make that motion. I'm not gonna restate it.
644.03 is what he's requesting to spend.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Hanson.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Give it.
Okay, now we're up to the phone, on the phone.
Should have, hopefully have signed paper Tuesday. Got what we come up with, you guys gave us the, thanks a lot for giving us the authority to do that. And, he was gonna go over it with his wife, and then hopefully we'll have signed documents, and try to collect some of the money. Go over the specifics on Tuesday, and I'll get it on the agenda on Tuesday, and then talk about it. Maybe we won't, I don't know. You didn't like getting it in the paper last time, upset it, it's what it is.
Well, hell, he's the one that put
I
it. I mean, you pay your bill, you don't get in the paper.
But it should be, you should have it back, hopefully have it back tomorrow, Monday, see it signed and get something back. That's out, talk to Jeremy, yeah, got it back out this morning. Should be good.
So it's in the works, we just haven't got it back?
It's in, yeah, it should be back anytime.
Is there any claims?
Make a motion to pay 'em.
Second.
Call the roll.
Schmidt, Bill,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Hanson.
Oh. Any old business? Any new business?
Okay. What came from management?
Okay, I made copies in management. The management committee opened bids on the boiler replacement in the administration building, that grant. The budget for the boiler replacement, the grant award, is $75,000. We have an agreement with Henneman Engineering of $9,500, leaving $65,500 for the purchase of the equipment. There were 3 bids that were opened on Monday. One for $87,950, one for $125,000, and one for $144,670. So the $75,000 is not sufficient. The committee was speaking with Henneman about 2 questions. One, why the large variance in the amounts bid, and why is it so much higher than what was anticipated? When we first hired Henneman and they came and talked to us, they had said they had done a similar project in Champaign and the equipment cost was around $60,000, which would have led us to believe that the $75,000 grant award was a good estimate, to do the project. So, they were also going to check with CNC to ensure that's the low bidder for $87,000, to ensure that they believed that was accurate and they had everything they needed. I called the state DCEO, the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and talked to our contact there and told him the situation. We don't have enough grant funds to do the project. So in the grant, it tells us we need their written approval if we make any changes to estimates on that grant. So he had me document the situation and send it to him. I got his approval last night. One way we could complete the project, if the $87,000 bid is awarded to CNC, there is and that's what you have in front of you. The new jail roof was budgeted at $93,000. There were two bids received at Monday's meeting. One for $63,313 on a foam roof, and one for $67,784 for a rubber roof. So say one of those bids is awarded, somewhere between $63,000 and $68,000. That would say we have about $25,000 under budget for the jail roof. What management is asking is that the jail roof line, and that's on this paper drawn for you, is reduced by $23,000, and we would add a new line for a 2015 project for boiler replacement. The balance of the boiler project is sitting in the grants fund. It's not in capital improvement, okay? So that would pick up the extra, pay for the extra money. And the state has agreed that that would be okay by them if we paid the balance of that with our capital improvement fund. So that's what management is asking us
For the
to
account,
do.
the accounting blessing of doing the line items.
Right,
Which-
correct.
Is there enough left, either one of these roof jobs?
Right, either one.
There'd be enough.
If you take the most expensive one, the $67,784, you're like $25,000. So, yes.
Okay. Because I got some questions on that foam thing. We used to do that in Florida, that didn't work.
Yeah, no, they better rubber it.
Yeah, rubber is much better. I mean, it's $4,000, but you just can't find your leak.
So we need a motion out of this committee for motion to reduce the account number that ended in 81306 by the $23,000 and add a new line for boiler replacement. And looks like we have a number that ends in like 21,714 on that, and add the 23,000 back in that line. That's the motion.
I got it.
Hold that right on the file.
Schmidt?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yeah.
Raymond?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yeah. Gee,
I like to eat, I like to stand by.
anybody want to go home?
Motion adjourned.
All in favor, say aye.
Not that won't be locked up real fast, but